man.
Yeah, I think 100% it affects the way women view themselves because no one looks like that. Not even the women on the cover of these magazines look like that. And so it affects women's like self-confidence, and I mean the whole society believes that women are supposed to look a certain way, and that's just not how it actually is. We shouldn't look like Photoshop. We should look like actual people.
Self-esteem, because I mean if it's photoshops on the cover of like magazines and it's widely available for everybody, so if everybody sees it, then I guess they're subconsciously like affected by that image. Like that's the ideal image, but that's necessarily not the ideal image. But no matter what people believe, they'll still be affected by it just because of the wide exposure.
Do you think it messes with like teenagers, how like girls with their body image, like all these models are photoshopped to be like super skinny, and so everyone feels like they have to live to that standard? Like I think that needs to be regulated. These models are already like paper thin, and people are still.
So maybe like some type of info, like saying this was photoshopped or something like that.
Just like a little thing at the bottom, like spray tanned, or like these images have been altered a little bit, like because teenagers see that, and like although like they know that it's photoshopped, like they still think that like that's a real person, and like they can look like that, and it's not that way.
Sweet.
Seeing like famous people photoshopped affects other people with self-esteem issues, and the Photoshop just makes them want to strive to look more like that when there's nothing wrong with the way they look to begin with.
I think Photoshop images are something that we don't think about as much. It's more of a subconscious thing that we realize in media today, and I really don't think it's going away because the advent of technology has changed so much that we can produce images of such high quality and manipulate them however we want, and I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. I think the technology is here to stay, and humans are going to have to adapt to that.
So do you think it would affect someone negatively in an emotional sense, and I guess of how they would think of their body?
I mean, of course there's going to be someone somewhere that sees those images and relays those ideas back onto themselves and compare themselves to those images, but they're just idealized. We've had idealized images of the human form from as early as Greco-Roman and even before, from all sorts of art. It's a sort of thing that humans seem to do with their media. They want to make it something more ideal, and I don't think that's going to go away, like I said. But you can't deny that there's not going to be some problem for people that compare themselves to those idealized forms. But that's more of a mental health issue, something on the mental health issue end rather than on the production end.
It should be like known that it's Photoshop because it gives like women, it makes them look like completely different than they actually do, and like Photoshop makes them look like 1,000 times better, and then it gives this like false image for people to look at, and it just like doesn't set a good example. It's like, it should definitely be regulated.
So you think it would like affect someone's self-esteem from that?
For sure, because like you would constantly be comparing yourself to something like that, when like that's like a standard like no one can live up to, because that's like a perfect person. No one's perfect.